guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today we'll be doing another film breakdown because I haven't done one in a while since my Narnia breakdown. So today we will be doing a breakdown on the Disney Pixar film Onward, one of my favourite films, because as I've watched through it, I've noticed quite a lot of things. So I may end up having to do 2 videos just to separate those things that I've realised throughout the film, just so then you guys can get a clearer picture of what I'm trying to say. So I've noticed that with most Disney Pixar films, there is a lot of meaning behind the films, and with every film that they create, they try and teach the viewers a lesson. So that is what I'm trying to pick up on today with the film Onward, with what it teaches us. So there is quite a few things that it teaches us, some of them more obvious than others. So let's get started. In the first scene of the film, we see a kind of flashback of how things became the way that they are. So we see that the world was once a place of magic, and the next thing we know, it's full of technology. And I just love the beginning of it, even though it's not the full story. I love the fact that the way that they have represented magic just through the first scene just shows that there is hope in the world, because despite technology later being invented to the point that these magical creatures no longer use magic, we see that magic back then was hope to those creatures, because if one night they were freezing cold, then wizards would make fire through magic, giving that hope of never being cold again. But then later on, as the years went by, things became more advanced and discoveries were made to the point that they were like, oh, we don't need magic anymore because we have central heating and so on and so on. So especially as this movie is based on magic and the message behind magic, as well as anything else, which I'll also go into, it just kind of foreshadows the meaning behind magic throughout the film, in a way. So that's kind of the first idea of that. And then following on from that, we then get introduced to the main characters, which is Ian and Bali. And we first get introduced to Ian, and straight away we get a picture of what kind of character he is. Because for his 16th birthday, Ian wants to become a new person. Because at the beginning of the film, we get a sense of him not being a confident person. So from that fact, he tries so hard to become as confident as he can be by trying to invite friends over for his birthday. And he's trying to learn to drive without any fear, which is hard, especially for your first time. But then throughout the film, we then see Ian's character progress as he starts to grow in confidence with his magic. And later on, we also then see him having a lot of resilience with helping his brother with fulfilling the quest. So confidence and resilience kind of link together, because you can't have resilience if you don't have the confidence to be resilient. And then that's a case of, in order to have confidence and resilience, you have to learn how to stand firm. Otherwise, you're just gonna wobble all over the place, and you're not gonna have a strong enough foundation in order to become confident and resilient as well. So that was mainly based on Ian because we really see him grow. Then we soon get introduced to Bali, who is completely opposite to Ian. He is very confident, especially in his belief in magic. And we see that as Bali teaches Ian the different spells, which I will go into. But one of my favourite things that Bali especially teaches us is the fact that when he found out that his brother had the magical gift and he didn't, he was very supportive. He wasn't jealous at all, despite the fact that he knew more about magic than his little brother. But I just found that as a powerful message because there's no need to be jealous because it's not like it's going to change anything. And the fact that he was supportive just shows that he is happy for his brother. He is happy that he has this magical gift, even if he doesn't know what to do with it at the moment. I think he was just happy because his brother has something that he has believed in, which is magic. And he probably got excited because he was like, okay, this is my chance to teach my little brother how to do magic, which is something that I've always wanted to do. So there is a little message there that we can learn from, which is not to be jealous, but rather to be more supportive, because jealousy isn't going to get us anywhere. So going on from that, with the mention of the spells, we learn quite a bit from the spells as well if we try and interpret them. So one of the spells, I think it's one of the first spells that Ian learns, is the Laventation spell, which I think this spell is Aloft Elevar. I think I said that right. And Bali mentions the fact that in order to do the spell correctly, you have to speak from your heart's fire. So it's a case of, if we take the meaning from that, it's a case of the fact that sometimes we need to follow our heart. We need to speak from our heart, otherwise we're not ever going to be true in what we say, because we're not speaking the full picture. Then you have the Grow spell, which is the next spell that Ian learns. And if I remember correctly, I think it's pronounced Magnora Ganchuan. And in order to perform this spell, you need to magnify your focus and your attention on the object that you want to enlarge. And as you do this, you need to make sure that nothing can distract you from it. So if we take a lesson from this, it's a case of, if we have an aim or a goal in life, we need to make sure that in order to achieve it and to get to the destination of that goal, we need to make sure that we don't get distracted. Otherwise, if we get distracted, then how are we going to get there when we're not even focusing on the destination? Following on from the Laventation spell of speaking from your heart's fire through passion and by not holding back, we then get the disguise spell. And what the book says that Ian and Bali use in order to learn magic is the fact that disguising yourself is a lie, so that you must tell the truth to get by. So it's a case of, as long as you don't tell a lie, then the spell will be fine. which is Bali's words that I have borrowed for this video. So what this spell is teaching us is that we must tell the truth, because nothing good comes out of lying. Because if we just keep holding the truth in, then that will keep tearing us up inside, and it won't only not be good for the person that you were lying to, but it also won't be good for you. So then we go on to the trust bridge spell, which I think is pronounced bridge Gar Invisia. Yeah. I think that's how you pronounce it. And as you can tell from the title of the spell, it teaches us a lot about trust. And especially in the scene where Ian learns the spell, there's a lot of faith between him and Bali, because if he ends up falling, then Bali is the one that has to catch him with the rope. And I love the idea that Bali has with the rope, because Ian was scared of continuing on with the spell because he didn't want to fall. And I love the fact that Bali said, "You're not going to need it." And then as soon as he says that, Ian then says, "I want the rope." He wants the rope. And then after that, we have the conversation between Ian and Bali on the other side of the bridge, where Ian has just realised that halfway through him doing the spell, the rope was no longer holding on to him because it came loose. And as soon as he realised that, he went to Bali and said, "I needed that rope." And then Bali said, "But did you?" And right there I was just like, yeah. Because with faith, it's something that people struggle with, because in order to have that faith, you feel like you need that security that is worth believing in. So that's kind of what this is portraying. Oh, and then there's the bit where when Ian falls and Bali catches him, Bali says that you know the worst that can happen, so there's nothing to be scared of. And that speaks to me so much, because it's a case of when you've overcome your fear, then there's nothing really to be afraid of, because you know the worst that can happen. So that teaches us a big lesson about fear as well, and about being fearless, because having courage isn't the same as having no fear. It's being afraid and then pushing forwards anyways, which is later shown in this film. So that's it for today's video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've just briefly outlined the lessons that this film has taught us, and I will be doing another video on it based on other things, so watch out for that video, and I'll see you guys on my next video.